Just I'll follow up on the Port Authority question if I could. You answered it pretty fully, but when the Empire State Building was first opened, they nicknamed it the Empty State Building because they couldn't occupy it. But don't you find 28 years to be kind of a long time figure to fully occupy?
It's just a number. Now, 2 years is too long. You'd like it built today and filled by the evening. The World Trade Center towers took a long time to fill up, but they were filled up with government offices basically at low rents, and then the owners tried to push out the government because the commercial sector came around and was willing to pay higher rents for that space. It is not going to, it's not easy in this market to rent office space. That is true, and it's not easy to get mortgages and construction loans. That's true, and it's not your money. They're building these things on spec. You're talking about somebody else's money, and they've got a right to decide what they want to do. We've got to find a ways to make it in Silverstein's interest to do so, and make it something that the Port Authority can afford. And that's my commitment to help working with them. And 28 years is a number that isn't. It has no basis in fact, and it may be right. Nobody knows. What we got to do is worry about right now. And it's also true that we can't build out anything unless you build some parts of everything. Okay, that's the problem. Rather than talk about the problem, let's find ways to solve it. So on balance.
The office space and the space in general, you're saying that probably 2037 will be the year that it will be completely occupied. Is that a number that surprises you that it would be that long?
All right, look, I am more optimistic on the economy, as I've said repeatedly, again and again and again, than most other people are, and I'm more optimistic on the industries that are big here, financial sector as well, coming back quicker than people had thought. And we're doing everything we can to make sure that those industries stay in this city. We're trying to continue to bring down crime and improve the schools and clean the streets and parks and support our cultural institutions. And if we do all of that, then there will be more demand and construction will go faster. There are practical realities about who can get construction loans and long-term mortgages, about whether or not developers can go and build buildings in this day and age on spec or have to have leases in advance. I can just tell you, my company, we just took another 140,000 square feet of space in the city. I believe in this city, and I believe in the economy coming back. It's not going to come back overnight, and everybody's not going to, there are people who've been hurt, and we should start focusing on the people who've been hurt and see if we can't do something for them, and we should focus on keeping people from getting hurt. If you get in trouble with your mortgage, find a ways to help you. We're doing that. Get small businesses to grow so that they can employ people getting laid off in other industries that aren't doing well. We're doing that. Focus on getting new companies to come here and start businesses. We're doing that. We've got to keep doing all of those things. And any arbitrary date, I think it's just a number out of the blue. I don't know whether my hope is that things will get done a lot quicker. What is clear is that it is a very complex project. There's probably never been an engineering project in construction of buildings of this complexity, and the problem is that you sort of have to do everything, or at least part of everything, because if you don't, then nothing works. I still think that we will make our commitment. The Freedom Tower is going to continue to go up, and the memorial will be built and ready on time. As long as your definition of on time is you can gather up top, the museum will not be done, and there will be parts that will, for years afterwards, be going in and out of accessibility, simply because underneath that is going to be the path to the station, and that's not going to be done in time. So I just don't know whether the numbers are right or wrong. My hope is, and I'll do everything I can to make sure that these buildings continue to go now. Whether it's practical or not, it's to some extent up to the realities of the marketplace, and to some extent up to two parties negotiating, I think, both in good faith, the Port Authority on one side and Larry Silverstein on the other. And one of the reasons this has taken so long and so complex, you've got the federal government, the state government, the city government, you've got a whole bunch of different agencies, you've got an agency that goes across state lines and the Port Authority, you've got insurance companies and a developer. There's an enormous number of moving pieces here, each with their own interest. You've got the public that started screaming, let's do it quickly right away, and then a lot of the people who were out there screaming that are nowhere to be found when it comes to funding it. So we've got to just, rather than try to divide people, let's find a way so that the Port and Silverstein and other people who might be interested can get together. And I still think that, you know, with the number 7 train extension going down the west side, that will help the rail yards and one of the Gold Coast. I still think that downtown is a phenomenally attractive place to have a company. It's become a real residential section. It's got views, it's got transportation, it's got history, it's got low rents. There's some real opportunities down there, and I want to make sure that Silverstein continues to believe that, and he can get the financing to do it, and the Port Authority finds the ways to work with him and get it done, and I'll be happy to plan to. As a matter of fact, I talked to Chris Ward last night. I'm going to get together with him again today. I'll do everything I can to help. I'm not going to negotiate anything. The city has limited negotiating power, although we do have the bully pulpit, but I'll do everything I can to help all sides resolve their disputes and issues. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, the gentleman